chief architect. I'm messing all types of stuff up. Michael Andrew, aka the Cat in the Hat, here to help you redesign your frame of mind when it comes to this lifestyle thing. Yo, today's Monday, and yesterday was daylight savings time. Did that mess you guys up? That messed me up like heavily. Like, and I didn't even have to reset anything. I'm, all my stuff is preset now with the clocks and everything on my phone. I didn't have to reset anything, but I was messed up because I was like, man, I'm late. I woke up and I thought I was late. I was like, how the hell did I miss my time? And then I was messed up today because I thought we were gaining an hour when we spring forward, but we lose that hour. We fall back and we gain an hour. And I was a little upset. What's going on, fellas? I don't know who's in, so please make sure that you check in with me. Let me know who is in here by saying what up. Um, so yeah, again, as always, it's conversation, not a dissertation or a lecture. So definitely want you guys' feedback, your thoughts for anything that we're talking about. But if you guys aren't asking any questions, I do have a sermon. I'm gonna be on my soapbox. You know what I'm saying? So if you want me to shut up, ask some questions, and I'm more than happy to answer them. If not, just some quick tidbits or some quick advice and tips that I can provide today. Again, we're going to continue our conversation on ties, tying it all together. This week, we'll be talking about tying it all together, how you can utilize proportions and things of that nature in order to get the look. And we're going to do how to match patterns. Hey man, I appreciate the handicap visions. I thought I looked fly every day, but I'll take it today though. You know what I'm saying? I do it for the compliments. I do it for the compliments. Thank you for the love though. Handicap visions. Um, yeah, so today we're gonna talk about tying it all together and how climate um my, yeah, I'll show it to you. I'll make sure that I put that. Follow me on Instagram, and I'll make sure that I show you the full outfit on the gram. Just because I can sit down right now, because I'm about to get up and record, so I have to stand up. But I'll make sure I do that from now on, handicap. So check me out on Instagram at Style Architects, StyleArchitects. I'll make sure I put that up today, and we'll have that conversation. I got you. Is that fair? Cool. So the reason why I wanted to talk about how climate can affect your style and tying your look together is because what often ends up happening is we don't think about the climactic. Okay, shout outs to you. Yo, hit me up on Instagram. I don't know. For some reason we don't always get all of our notifications. So let me know that. Mr Connecticut, what's up, family? Welcome. Thank you for joining. Make sure you give me a like, Mr Connecticut, if you just hopped on. You know what I'm saying? It's appreciated. So yeah. One of the things I want to talk about is the fact that we're moving into spring. It's not officially spring yet, but we're getting really, really close. I think we're like 2 days, maybe like a week out of a spring. And so, listen, I'm over winter. I'm over this cold weather. I thought it was fun for 2 seconds. I get to wear my coats and things of that nature. We had to move during the wintertime. That was not fun. I'm no longer with a car, which I don't mind at all. Willie Mays, what's going on, family? Peace. Make sure you guys give me a thumbs up if you're feeling the information. But yeah, I'm without a car now, so which I don't mind. I enjoy actually Ubering and lifting spots, but being out in the cold, like walking towards different spaces, is not the business at all. And so that's been a bit of an adjustment. And so I'm ready for spring. I'm ready for spring. I don't know how long our spring is going to be because here in Atlanta, we seem to go from winter to summer pretty fast like that. So now I'm just wanting to maneuver in those different types of spaces, and I'm rambling, so I'm going to get to the point. What I was going to talk to you guys about was tying the look together with the environment, because as the environment changes, what's going to happen is for some guys, they're going to start saying, okay, it's warm, so now I'm supposed to dress like this when it's warm. But there's actually some other elements that are going to impact how you're going to move throughout the day. So 3 environmental factors or settings that are going to cause you to pay attention to how your character is going to show up is number one, your temporal environment. So that's going to be the literal temperature of the space that you're in. The second thing is going to be your social environment, the social climate that you're going to be in. And then also, lastly, the energy climate, the energetic aspects of your space and the settings that you're in. So we're not going to cover these too in depth right now. We'll definitely do a deeper dive on an actual pre-recorded video because I want to make sure that I give you some examples um, in literal, like in something that you can appreciate in that space. Whoever just joined, please make sure you shout me out unless you just hopping right back on. And thank you for the likes. It's appreciated. But yeah, so what ends up happening for a lot of people is when they step into the temporal climate, they get that, right? But when you're in even in a temporal climate, so when it's cold outside, you want to be very aware of two things. Number one, you want to be aware of your core temperature. There's a lot of guys who don't realize that they run hot. And so even when it's cold, you don't want to overdress because then you find yourself sweating and that creates a certain level of discomfort. And then in the summertime, you want to make sure that you are actually keeping yourself a little bit more covered so that your skin isn't being directly hit by the sun, and that way you can stay a little bit cooler. Then it's just about wearing some lighter fabrics, some cottons, natural fibers like linen. But I always recommend doing linen cotton blends just because you don't have as much wrinkling. Although there's nothing wrong with that, that's a different conversation. But you want to pay attention to that. Then you also want to pay attention to what you're moving through. Because here's another thing. A lot of guys, we get excited because it's wintertime. We can layer and we can do all these other different types of things. And we forget that we're going from our car to our office. And a lot of guys that I talk to, they'll say, yeah, man, I need to get me a great overcoat. And I'm like, bro, doesn't your car sit in the garage? They're like, yeah. And don't you have a garage at your job? Yeah. So when are you actually out in the elements? Like, even if you are going out to eat or something, generally those people are valeting or even if they're parking their car, they're gonna be outside all of 5 minutes, right? So it doesn't really make sense to make that investment when they can actually just have one great coat and that's it. Like that coat will last them for the next 40 years because the way that our environment is changing and the way that we're moving now, it's not the same. It doesn't have the same need. We don't have the same need in those things. So those are two things that you always want to pay attention to. Your core temperature. Are you running hot, or are you a person who may be anemic and you just need to stay warm as much as possible because you get cold easy? Or how are you moving throughout the space? So the second thing that you want to pay attention to is your social climate. So this is, we always do consciousness. So being aware of who you are, construction and curating your wardrobe, and then ultimately communication. So we're going to be a little bit on the communication side, but this still will structure how you are going to create your wardrobe. When you're in social climates, here's the thing that a lot of guys just do not think about. I think we recognize it subconsciously, but we don't think about it. We are all creatures of habit, right? So if I told you to tell me the thing that you like to do every week out of a monthly space, you're probably doing the same thing over and over and over again, right? If I ask you where you're going to do those things, it's probably the same place over and over and over again. Very rarely do we actually step out and try something new unless that is our habitual trait. Then I'll talk to people and they'll say, oh yeah, I'm at someplace new every weekend. Is it acceptable to wear a turtleneck and a sweater like together? Yeah. I mean, if you want to if I would recommend if you do that you put that on with like a V-neck just so it can create some perspective and some proportion. You can do it with the crew neck. I've seen it done before. It just kind of looks off. I mean, I've seen it done. I've seen it done well, but like very rarely. You can do it, but I would recommend doing it with a V-neck sweater, and then also play with the weight. So if you have a heavy or chunky sweater as the base, or like that's the V-neck, then have a finer gauged sweater for the turtleneck. You know what I'm saying? Play with those proportions there. But yeah, you can definitely do that. Yes, so I was saying that when it comes to your social climate, we're pretty much creatures of habit. Even if you're stepping out and doing the same thing, or doing different things, we're still creatures of habit. And so you want to make sure that you're dressed for those spaces. We've all heard that conversation that says, "Hey, if it's better, far better to be way dressed up when you step into a space because you can always tell them you have someplace better to go." I remember hearing that and being like, "Yeah," when I first was getting started, like, "Yeah, that's cool," and I liked being well dressed, right? And somewhere along that line, something internal and maybe somebody out, externally said, like, "You asshole. Why would you say that?" Like, imagine me going to somebody's like housewarming, space, right? And I'm in a three piece suit for a housewarming, right? And they're like, "Oh my gosh, Mike, like, wow, like you didn't have to dress up, like this was just housewarming." And me saying something like, "Well, yeah, I got someplace more important to go." Like, imagine I was at your house. You would be like, "You ass, I'm not, you know what? I'm not gonna curse. I'm not gonna curse this dude out because I'm at my house. This is my housewarming party." But I can almost guarantee you I'm never getting invited to that person or any other person that they affiliated with, anything that they have going on. Because they're gonna be like, how rude and how like inconsiderate and like all these other different types of things. And as I mentioned, I do a IG live as well. One of the thing, turtleneck is white and sweater is gray. Yeah, I think that might be a good little look. I think that could work. Definitely, you should try that. Um, Try it on. See how it fits you. Let me know how that works. How you feel in it. But yeah, I like the sound of it. Um, but yeah, so um, I tried to I try to temper that. Like, I would say, there's nothing wrong with being slightly like a step up of the dress that people may be expecting. So if everybody's in a polo and you come in a nice button down, dress shirt or button down collar shirt or something like that, cool. But you shouldn't be ostracizing yourself by being ostentatiously overdressed. Ostracize, ostentatious, SAT words, right? Simply means you shouldn't be trying to do too much by being overdressed when you come to something in a space. So then on the other side, don't be so casual that it's just disrespectful. Because I've seen people come in a t-shirt and shorts to housewarming. Like, that's cool at a barbecue. That's cool if we're gonna be spending most of the day around the pool. That's all well and good. But if this is something that is supposed to be a little bit more dressed up, a little bit more formal, not formal in a serious sense, but formal in like, listen, I'm letting you into my home. I'm giving you access to who I am. At the age of 26, 27, people are starting to settle down to a certain degree. You're looking for families, creating and buying homes, or really taking account into what they're purchasing, right? It's no longer a dorm room, and it's no longer I'm young and I'm just making purchases for whatever. They're trying to curate a comfortable space, and that's a very personal thing, and they're giving you access to it. So be respectful of that, because they thought enough of you to let you into that space. So you want to be aware of those things. And then also, when you're going out to the club or when you're going out to dinner, like, don't just dress down because everybody else is dressed down. And don't forget that dressing up, quote unquote, does not mean you have to be in a suit. Dressing up could be throwing on a dope suede or leather jacket with a great pair of dark selvedge denim jeans, a D-ring belt, and maybe a nice turtleneck, or a button-down collar shirt with some dope Chelsea boots, or some dope commando inspired types of boots. Right. You can play all those different types of things, especially if you're going to a nightclub. Then you're setting yourself apart from all the other fellas who are going to be showing up in the ripped up jeans and the long tees. I don't know why long tees is becoming a thing again, but like, in those different types of spaces, or the guys who just thought to throw on a tie and a dress shirt because they really have no sense of style. So you can do those, you can play on those different types of things as well. Lastly, you want to pay attention to the energy of the environment that you're going to go into. If the energy is going to be super intensive and heavy, then you probably want to go on the lighter side of dressing, because that energy is going to create a lot of heat. Whether you guys realize it or not, if you go into a lit party or a lit type of event, think about how many people are going to actually be in that space. So if it's warm, it's going to become hot in those spaces. If it's cool and there's a lot of people there, it's probably going to get significantly warmer in those spaces, because you have all this energy, you have all these people moving around, jumping up and down, doing all these different types of things. And if you think that you're not going to, number one, be pulled into that energy, you're sadly mistaken. Well, happily mistaken, because that's going to be fun. But you're going to be pulled into the energy. You're going to feel exactly what they're feeling, and you're going to start catching that vibe and be like, oh, like, I don't even dance, and I'm over here, I can't dance. But, you're going to be catching that vibe, right? So you want to make sure that you're paying attention to that. If it's more mellow, if you're going to a coffee shop or something else like that, you want to pay attention to that energy as well, because it's going to be more relaxed. But that doesn't mean that you don't make sure that you're intentional about your image. You never know who you may meet there. Meet the love of your life there, or the love of a moment. You never know. So you want to make sure that you are very aware of those different types of spaces, because those environments are going to help create a certain setting for your character. So I want you to try those things on. Handicap Vision, you got any other questions? Willie, you got any questions? Mr. Connecticut, you got any questions? I don't know who else is on. If I missed anybody, I apologize. No, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, no, yes. Okay. So I'm gonna assume that you guys are all set to go. So it is Monday. Today we will be talking about how to get the look. We're gonna be talking about patterns. Master Yip, what's going on, family? Salute, sir. How are you? Glad to see you on here, and glad for you checking me out. Um, yeah, so we're gonna be talking about proportions. Um, Actually, watch the YouTube video. We'll talk about that tonight. Outside of that, be great today. Then again, you guys know you are great. I love telling you guys are great, though. It just makes me feel good. So make sure that you are showing up and showing out in style, and above all, that you're not forgetting that dress is nothing more than the expression of a man's state of mind. So you, Master Yip, Handicap Visions, Mr. Connecticut. Who else was up on here early? Willie Mays. All you wonderful guys, that you make sure that you are dressing to express. And Handicap Vision, make sure you show me that picture. Send me a DM. Let me know how that turtleneck and that sweater work out. All right. So I'll see you tonight. Make sure you leave those comments, subscriptions, share, subscribe, all that stuff. It helps the channel to grow. I'll see you later. Peace.